Hello guys and welcome to the STPL. My name is Kix. You are joining me here. Rapid unfortunately just dropped from the call. His Discord seems to have disconnected, so we're going to get him back as soon as we can. But you are joining me here today for the second of the round 3 semi-finals. It's going to be our two primarily Korean teams here. Well, White Clan is essentially all Korean, but it's going to be SouL Gaming versus White Clan. Our first semi-final was absolutely amazing the other day between Naz and NetWars, so really looking forward to getting into the second one here as well. Sorry, I just keep glancing left to see if Rapid's come back online on Discord, but I guess we'll find out. He said he'll just jump on the call as soon as he can. And, oh, a Twitter from Discord. Okay, well, Rapid's in the game at least. And looks like they are trying to fix whatever their problem is. Although this was a while ago. That was at 12 PM today, apparently. I am so confused. Because their reply is saying it's at 12 PM, but the initial tweet says 12 minutes. But to get back into what we're doing, basically, we are going into the semi-final. Oh, it was 2 seconds ago. That's nice. You live in like the one part of the world with an issue. That's kind of annoying. It's like partial outage. So hopefully it'll come back up as soon as possible. Just to introduce our first couple of teams, just to get us started, let's head on over to the overlay. I'll go through a little bit of the team history while we've got a little bit of time while we wait for Rapid. We're going to start here with SouL Gaming. Now, SouL Gaming, the scores in the bottom right are going to be their round 2-1, so they actually lost to White Clan in the semi-finals of round 2, so this is a little bit of a revenge match for them, a little bit of a chance to take vengeance on the team who did eventually win round 2 after their round 1 victory as well. So going to be cool to see how they do here against them. They beat Red to take third place in round 2. They also then beat Red again at the start of round 3. So they've gone through some really strong teams with some very good scores. 4-0ing Red is no mean feat. 3-1ing IRK is no mean feat as well. BWL, a pretty strong team in themselves. They 4-0'd them. 4-0'd SciStorm. Now SciStorm, I've said this before in broadcast, but you may not have seen before. And unfortunately, they haven't had the best of luck. They have got some strong players though. It's just the way the cookie crumbles on match day hasn't been working out for them. But SouL took down NetWars, and this is the main component of how they won their group. They beat NetWars 3-2. Of course, they were the other semi-finalists here from Group A, who did actually beat Naz on Monday to make it through to the playoff finals this Friday. They also beat DM and Clan Rev 3-1 as well. Then if we move on over to have a look at White Clan's history. White Clan, they beat SouL Gaming 3-1, and then they beat NetWars 4-2 in the playoff finals from last round. Looks like Rapid still hasn't reconnected to Discord. I guess Discord's still having problems. But I'm glad Rapid agrees with what I'm saying. But White Clan did eventually take the they took the winning place in round 2. They did win round 1 as well, so they are certainly our championship team to beat here. They didn't do as well as SouL Gaming did in their group. So, I mean, they still won a good number of games, but they actually took a loss to Naz. They took a loss to FBW, and they very nearly took a loss to Bull Team as well. So when you actually look at the Group B rankings, the Group A rankings, you'll see that White Clan only just managed to qualify over FBW, and that was with a 4-game difference overall. That's kind of insane. The championship team not having the same kind of victories that they had in round 1 and 2, coming across some very tough opponents in round 3. And this could be echoed here in our semi-final, because if we actually have a look at both our teams, you'll see that White Clan overall in the STPL have won 20 of their series. That is no mean feat. SouL Gaming have won 17. Head to head though, White Clan are currently 0 up against SouL Gaming. They beat them in round one, which actually knocked SouL Gaming down the standings enough so that they wouldn't make it into the round one playoffs despite being such a strong team. And they beat them again in the round two playoffs. So this is a very, very important match for SouL Gaming. They are going to want to win this. And not only that, SouL Gaming have had an unbeaten record here in round three. They have beaten every single team faced 7-0. Now, no team so far has made it into the playoff finals of the STPL without dropping a single set. So, are SouL Gaming gonna be the first? Can they take down White Clan here? Can they take down the double champions to make it their way into their first playoff final? We're going to have to find out when we get into our set of games here today. Now, today's maps, if we have a look, set 1 is on Colosseum 2, set 2 on Benzene, set 3 on Icarus, set 4 on Athena 2, and the ace match, if we make it there, is going to be on Katrina SE. Now, we've definitely got some good maps in round 2. They've led to some incredibly good games. I think my favourite map out of the round 2 pool, just by virtue of the games it's given us, is Athena 2. Athena 2 has led to some of the best games we've had. We had Anokan versus Jeju there. We had Buell versus Medinho, where Medinho actually took down Buell, so that's kind of insane. And Colosseum 2, a fantastic map as well. If we actually have a look at who we have playing for both our teams, we have the one, the only Scan. Now, it looks like Discord is back up, so I'm going to start the call back up with Rapid. We're going to have Noob as well for SouL. Now, you may have recognized Noob from the Havatyu tournaments recently. He is a Korean amateur who is making waves in the scene, doing a good job there. Spire joining him as well there. He's going to be the Zerg player here for SouL Gaming. Is also a very good player, has won a couple of Havatyu tournaments by Shamtu. And then finally, we have Buell. Now, Buell is the double ASL qualifier, double ASL qualified player. We actually had Buell qualify last season. He qualified this season well. Did really well in his qualifier group. And just to bring it back to the camera, we can say hello to Rapid because he is finally back.
Why would you do that to me, Kix? Why would you unplug my internet connection and then make it seem like it was Discord's fault? You cut the wires and I can see it right there, and you're trying to pretend like to the people like you're still this good upstanding member of the Brood War community when you're sabotaging esports right
I
and
am.
left.
Okay, so just to quickly, now we've finally got Rapid here, let's actually head back over, introduce the white players. So, Bai is a Korean Terran who's been doing really well for White Clan, hasn't made any major waves in any major tournaments, he is an amateur player. Luke, their Protoss player, also one of their amateur players, hasn't really made too much of an impact on the scene. Famasi, done really well in the STPL, is also an amateur player who hasn't got into any of the big tournaments as of yet, but still a very strong opponent. Him versus Spire should be a really cool match. And then we're going to have JY. Now, JY could be a name you guys haven't heard in a very long time. The last time he actually played competitively was back in 2007 when he was playing in, or 2006, when he was playing in Proleague for CJ Entus. He had something like an 8-12 win ratio and beat players like Best back then. So really impressive player. Not too sure of how his form is these days, but he's been an active player for White this entire time. So he's certainly got a lot of practice behind his belt.
Yeah, it was very, very impressive when you sent me that info that JY was going to be subbing in today, because JY is very old school. Like, this guy has gone out, done military service, come back, gotten a real job, and now he's actually back to playing StarCraft again. I actually met a former teammate of JY's at the ASL qualifiers. Um, and he didn't speak hardly any English, but his ID was they were on the same team together at the same time. And it overall, the ASL qualifiers were not a good time for really old players who are coming back to play. Most of the ones that I was aware of, at least, lost in the first round of SouL and Jeonju qualifiers.
Yeah.
So to be a player that's been very good and coming back is not a guarantee that they are a gigantic favorite to win these games. Even though I would say that JY, out of all of the players who have left and are now coming back and starting to play more, I would say he is definitely one of the better ones, along with who was it that just won the Have At You most recently? It was a three-letter acronym.
It was I know he was facing off against Zealot, but
It was IDK,
was it
something
was
like
it
that.
YSC?
Yeah,
No,
I believe you and your giant nerd brain are correct.
I,
Yeah, so a lot of players are in the same situation as JY. They're old players, they're coming back.
yeah. Now there are a couple of other players that we won't see today, but 815 was the one replaced by JY. Now
Yeah,
815 was a KT Rolster player. He did become their head coach, I believe, for a while as well. He
hmm
actually did pretty well in the ASL qualifiers, from what I
he
understand,
did.
and he lost
He
to
was in the
was it
final round
against?
twice, I believe.
I think he lost to Nada in one of them, didn't he? So
He lost to Nada, and then he lost to I think it was Rush later on. Very very good player by today's standards. It's a chicken and the egg kind of thing with him in the map 815. I believe he was named after the map, not before the map. But either
yeah.
way, he's almost just as iconic because he was very good back in the day.
Yeah, so without further ado, let's actually introduce our first couple of players here by having a look at their history just to see how well they've done in the STPL so far. Scan, obviously playing from the military, isn't allowed to stream anymore, but still plays for his team where he can. It's been really cool to see his games, especially in round 3. Been putting in a very good job. I mean, you can see he's actually 13 for 2 overall in the SCPL, so a great win rate by him. And he's actually played against White Clan before, and he did beat one of their other players in a TBT. It was number 1 Flash, so White Clan certainly have some interesting names in their team. It's really hard to tell who's who sometimes, but I mean, Scan beat Krak and number 1 Flash in a TBT. There's not really more we can say. He beat some other really good players throughout the whole tournament as well. And Bai
Yeah.
is another man who has done incredibly well in the SCPL. He's not actually played in round 3, did take a break, played more in round 1 and 2. But Bai has gone completely unbeaten. He's actually 8 for 0 at the moment, hasn't played a single TBT. So I'm going to be kind of interested to see how exactly this is going to go for him, because they're going to be moving on to our first map of today, which for TBT is quite possibly one of my favorites. It's going to be Colosseum 2. Now, this is going to be the first TBT we've had on this map the entire round. There has been, just to think, I'm trying not to do maths, but it's hard not to. There has been over 60 games on Colosseum 2 throughout this tournament. No, there hasn't. I'm being completely silly. I'm not going to do maths
How do you
anymore.
do math? So yeah, the T. Oh my God, kicks. Okay.
Okay,
Just say 10. Like 10's
yeah,
a safe number. There have been over 10 games on this
there
map,
has.
Kick.
There has. There's been over 10 games on this map. No TBTs. We have had a good number of Terrans, though. It's just never really matched up with TBT. So looking forward to see how this map goes as we get into game number 1 here at Scan for SouL Gaming versus Bai. Okay, and starting us off here, over in the left-hand side of your screen, it's the White Terran fighting for SouL Gaming. It's Scan.
And his opponent in the yellow on the right-hand side of your screen, also as Terran, playing for White Clan. This is Bai, and I'm so excited for this. I think you have to say one matchup that Scan is so good at. It's going to be TVT. He really excels at these long-form, kind of methodical play styles, but every once in a while, you will see White Clan just put in an absolute badass player. Maybe you've never heard of them before, but that does not keep them from being monsters of Korean Brood War.
Yeah.
And so I'm really excited to kind of see what this looks like, because Scan has just been fantastic this season. And you're right, we haven't actually seen Bai a whole lot since round 1.
Yeah, and Bai is going for something a little bit cheeky, going for an 8
Uh-oh.
racks in the middle of the map. Now,
But
unlike in TVZ, 8 racks isn't the be-all and end-all. Obviously,
yeah.
an 8 racks in TVZ, if you get the bunker rush off, you've suddenly won the game, because the Zerg loses one too many drones and you have such an insurmountable advantage. But as long as as long as Scan doesn't build his barracks too late here, as long as he doesn't go for 14cc, he should be fine. But then the strange thing is, in TVT, even if you go 14cc, 8 racks isn't necessarily a guaranteed win, especially on a map like Colosseum. But we've got to
yeah, so you're right, there's two big things that have to happen now. Forward racks does set you behind, because obviously you're not building economically quite up as quickly as possible, and you do still need to scout your opponent, right? It's a 4-player map, so that's why you see it built in the center of the map. And if your SCV scouts incorrectly and your first Marine maybe guesses incorrectly, then all of a sudden you have just really wasted this aggressive opener, and your opponent gets to open for free. But look at this. Look at this scout. Scan is so good. He sees immediately that the Rax is out there, and while he's not in time to cancel it, he does know it's coming.
Yeah, and if you know it's coming, you can get ready. He's probably going to send 2 SCVs to the front, building his first Marine. There goes the 2 SCVs, with the one from the barracks as well. He's going to grab the high ground here and try and ambush the Marine as he tries to leave. Now, we are going to have a second Marine here with the SCV, but what is the micro like from Scan?
Oh my god, he got the surround! That's insane! But the anti-surround, the unsurround, it comes through. He's gonna get one Marine and the second Marine, and insane micro and control. Even saves 1 SCV at 1 HP.
He does. Now the Marine's out for Scan, so this rush, Bai is actually going to be the one saying bye now.
Yeah, this rush is the name of an NSYNC song.
Yeah, it is. So looks like we are going to have 2 more Marines coming in here, trying to find some damage, but it's going to be 2 Marines on the high ground with 3 SCVs against only 2 SCVs, and Scan is going to have the SCV advantage back at home. He didn't have to cancel or skip any to get the quicker barracks, so Scan is definitely going to be able to hold this off, and both of them are going to go into their factories.
Yeah, and you'll notice he's going to kill off the Sunken Colony, just kind of clear things out there and make sure that he doesn't get kind of glitched out on that if there is, another one. He did only see the 1 barracks, so he's not really going to think that there's a round 2 for this level of, you wouldn't even call this like cheese, it's just a super aggressive opener. But that was exactly what I was talking about. Scan is so good defensively. And I think one of the reasons, if you are a good defensive player, you know that players are going to be coming for you, right? But there's that phrase that is so iconic to our culture kicks, and that is, "Come at the king, you best not miss." And so this is Bai trying to step up against one of the best players in STPL, and he definitely missed with that opener. So we'll see if Scan can push across the map and do anything aggressive, because he's trying to.
Yeah, now the one worrying thing for Scan is I almost feel like he's overbuilt Marines here. He also doesn't know where his opponent is, so he's going for a big attack on the bottom right-hand corner. And there's actually going to be a Vulture out here for Bai that could run straight across the map now. Scan does have his own Vulture, so we're going to have a little bit of Vulture micro, both trading a blow and pulling back, so really good play from both of them. Now, the interesting question for me is, what's Scan going to do behind this? He's going into a starport. Now, it's not 2-port or anything crazy like that, whereas Bai is going into a 2-factory play behind the command center. And just quickly to answer Kame in the chat, the reason why you kill the Sunken is it gets in the way, pretty much.
Well, it also controls the creep in front of your base. So if you kill the Sunken, then the creep subsides, which allows you to build things. But the biggest thing is that, so he brought an SCV with these Vultures. If he can get any repair off, then that's going to be some hashtag value. He is repairing this Vulture, but it is still going to just barely go down, and that means the Vultures versus no Vultures, well, we want to know who wins that fight.
Yeah, but still, Scan is in a good position. He's actually taken out a lot of the units from Bai, and he scouts the 2 factory. Now, he doesn't see the oh, he does see the command center with the SCV. White and yellow on the
Yeah.
minimap is far too similar, but Bai holds on to the counter.
Right, and actually, if you look at this command center timing as it just now completes, that's a command center and SCVs mining from it that Scan does not have.
Yeah.
So, Scan's going to start his command center after his opponent finished it. And that still means that after all is said and done, maybe the SCV count is initially higher for Scan, but the command center scout or count is higher for Bai. So he'll be able to get that double production on. He should be in a fantastic spot with a couple of factories behind this.
Yeah, now the one benefit that Scan is, or the one reason I scanned command centers a little bit later is he did opt to go for Quick Cloak. Now, Quick Cloak against a player going 2-port Wraith, which is a good follow-up to 8 racks, just completely demolishes it because the other player will not have Cloak quick enough. But Bai is just playing standard behind this. He's not going for anything crazy. He's actually building an engineering bay already, so that's going to be a turret at each mineral line. Scan isn't going to be able to find any damage. The one benefit that he's going to gain from this is Bai is not going to be able to secure a place in the middle of the map. You can see that tank heading straight back home.
Yeah. Wow. This is kind of one of the stranger games because, at least in other RTS games, StarCraft 2, a lot of times early aggression really defines the way that the rest of the game is going to play out. But in Brood War, a lot of times you do actually see some crazy cheeses kind of just equalize, and then you just play a normal game from there on out. And while I definitely wouldn't call this game normal at this point because we still have some raids and some cloak and shenanigans going on, it is definitely going to move beyond just this early game. We're gonna actually get a chance to see these two players really go head to head. So let's see how much damage these cloak raids can do. Obviously, as long as they avoid missile turrets, they'll be okay because there is no mobile detection or scans. So they get the scouting information, but see that, hey, Bai's just playing standardly. So really, their usefulness is kind of limited at this point.
Yeah, and you can see Scan already has cut his starport production. He's going into a couple of additional factories, or at least one additional factory in his armory, which is going to be a little bit further behind to Bai's, but he should start his +1 upgrade fairly quickly after this. I would say both of them going into their second gas at relatively the same time. While Bai got the quicker command center, he didn't get that gas advantage super early, so things aren't looking too bad for Scan, all considered. He actually finds himself ahead in supply.
Yep. I think the biggest thing right now that Scan has is, obviously the tech advantage, but it's going to be interesting to see what he wants to do with that, right? There's one world in which he just tries to expand again and realize that, he's got this kind of soft contain out, but this is his biggest advantage. If you can contain your opponent at really any place, maintain that, you're going to be in a good spot. Look at this. The tank's trading actually pretty well. The Rays doing a great job kind of adding in, taking out a couple of tanks, and Scan recognizes, wait, you don't have any, detection. So he's just going to be able to, he just barely leaves that Goliath on 2 HP. But he holds this high ground with siege tanks being rallied in.
Yeah, and this position is just so unbelievably strong in TVT. Scan as well has a lot of mines out in front of this, so if you want to take down this tank, you need to get siege mode, which he does have, or at least I believe he has. I've not seen him siege just yet, but he is going Charon boosters. But the trouble is, it's very hard to siege a tank on the high ground when he has vision advantage. I mean, it looks like Bai is just taking more and more damage on his tanks.
Needs to use those rays for vision. If I can check the vision here really quickly, yeah, you gotta be careful. You gotta really make sure that you know exactly what the range is on those tanks. Because even with high ground, you get lucky shots. You've got way more tanks. This is going to be a good opportunity for Bai to try to break out.
Yeah, now he has pushed Scan back a little bit. That at least relieves the pressure on his factory. He's no longer going to be losing tanks as he spawns them out the factory, so all is well and good for him. Now he thinks he has enough now to break through. He's going to move forward, gets a nice siege. Goliath out the front, getting taken down by the mines.
Whoa!
But a good siege volley.
Huge mine drag there at the front, kills off all the vultures for Scan except for one. And that means that if there's an unsiege and go attempt for Bai, it's probably going to work out really well. The only thing Scan has on the high ground is one tank, one vulture, and one SCV. And
the
a couple
drop
of
in the
raids,
main.
Yeah, that's going to be the big one, and here we go.
You know, Scan is interestingly heading down towards the natural past all of the tanks, so does lose his vultures, not without doing a pretty decent amount of damage. Does keep Bai a little bit busy, stops him from pushing too far forward, and all of this is in aid of getting his third command center up.
Yeah, I think, man, it's so hard to kind of judge the way that the future of a TVT will play out. But I think the inability of Bai to break out of this early contain, I think that's really going to start to hurt him more and more as the game goes on. Whether it's the delayed third base or the losses he's going to take trying to break out of his own natural, trying to break onto the high ground. He's pushing Scan back, but it's still very slowly.
Yeah, now the one issue that he's actually got is he's letting a factory just sit idle and a depot. The Bai isn't finishing his buildings, and Scan, upon scouting the two-port Wraith from Bai in retaliation, is going into a Valkyrie. So Scan is going to be looking in a very strong position soon, as third gas being started immediately once this command center finishes. Scan has his priorities in order, and that factory still isn't being built.
What? Oh, wow. Okay, well, that's a minor tragedy. Obviously, it's not going to like completely define every part of this, but it is still a very big deal. Kicks. If you had to give your expert opinion, who do you think is in the lead right now?
Well, Scan is most certainly in the lead, not only in supply but also position. Every move that Bai has to make now is going to be dangerous. If he attacks the siege line head on, he is going to take major losses. I mean, this is a nice siege by Bai, though. That's perfect. That's what he needs.
Drop coming in from Scan is going to get more SCV kills at the natural expansion. He actually hold position one Vulture out of range of hitting that mineral line, so it actually didn't get as many kills as I thought, and the SCV actually winds up clearing up this drop. So this is actually the biggest tragedy of the game so far, is that drop. And so the reason I was saying that is that, you know, for all that Scan has this extra base up, Bai is broken out. The supply is actually pretty similar, and he actually will have faster +1 weapons, and he already has those Charon boosters. So there's a little bit of a world where things might start going pretty well. What are all these SCVs doing in the middle? They're trying to take this tank out, but they're actually going to maybe even lose their lives. I was really worried about that last siege tank shot, but that's actually a lot of damage on these SCVs and a lot of idle ones as well.
Okay, I think I must have missed a drop. I was watching the race in the middle. That's a bit of a mistake by me, but...
Oh no!
Looks like we're going to have Bai using that opportunity while the drop was hitting him to actually head forward.
What is this Valkyrie doing, Kix?
Where are we looking?
It just exploded over the natural.
Oh boy.
There's so many things going on. You're at 1320 right now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not a timing issue. There's actually just some weirdness happening. I'm missing things. You're missing things. There's crazy stuff going on. So, for instance, let me just describe what just happened. So, Scan had a missed rally point on his start port and rallied the Valkyrie he was building straight through Goliaths and missile fire, and it died in the natural expansion. So that was a little bit anticlimactic.
Yeah, that's a little bit awkward, but Bai in the meantime did use his race to push forward, did get one of the Goliaths and did a little bit of damage to the tanks, but most importantly, he secured his path out of his base in the middle of the map. Now, I continue to believe that white and yellow on the minimap is just unfair, because it's
not
really
as bad
hard.
as orange and yellow.
I think orange and yellow is a little bit easier.
No, because look at the ground, man. This is a desert tile set. Like, it's basically orange and yellow.
Okay, well, hopefully we'll be able to catch everything, but Scan's slowly starting to move forward to continue his contain down at the bottom middle of the map. Now, Bai actually had a lot of wraiths, but I can't seem to find them anymore. It's almost like you lost them.
A lot of them died. They were traded, but he also has maybe one at his natural.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Down south.
They're in the middle.
Bai is a little bit scattered right now. He's got maybe 7 SCVs that are just totally idle, not repairing and not mining. Obviously, he's got a bunch of tanks and raids that are kind of idle and spread in weird places. So, but I think he's got to kind of get it together, because right now he's got. Oh my God! Look at Bai's natural expansion kicks.
Okay, I'm looking at the natural, And
There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 SCVs just chilling.
are we replay bugged? Because
Oh my
they're
god.
not chilling for me.
Oh my god, we're replay bugged. I was like, Kix, how are you not? I should have looked at the minerals, because they're not going down. Okay, well, cool. I guess I'm just gonna let you handle this from here on out, Kix. Damn.
Okay, well, we can always reload the replay if necessary. That should fix it. But things are definitely looking a bit funny. That was why maybe I can hear tanks firing, but I can't see anything. How strange is this? Oh, okay, he's pushing through the bot middle. You know what? I'm going to quickly reload the replay. We were at 15 minutes 42. At least I was anyway.
I'm like,
let's
Kix,
go
are
back
you not
here.
seeing what I'm seeing? I'm seeing all these crazy things. How are you not watching this? Like,
Well, that's...
oh my god.
You know what?
I'm bad and I should feel bad.
Okay,
Ugh.
we've seen some weird things, right? But nothing will ever beat the time I was casting a live game with SouL, and all of a sudden, I think it was Bonneth just DeWalt suicided all his carriers on turrets, and I was like, oh my god, what's he doing? And then SouL was like, what? And I'm like, did you not just see that? And he's like, no. Oh, that was a mess. But I rehosted the replay, so if you jump back in. Okay.
I'm going to rejoin here.
To answer Caxter, if you want to know who this team is going to fight in the final, it is going to be NetWars. You can also check out that semi-final on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/KixSD. The games are certainly worth watching. But let's quickly load up this replay again and get back into game number 1 of White versus SouL. A little bit of a weird replay bug there, but hopefully things will go a little bit smoother this time. Okay, so just skip to the right time. I'm gonna go back to 15 minutes. So
try as hard as you can not to kill esports this time, Kix.
Okay, it definitely wasn't me killing esports, but here we go.
That's a likely story. That sounds like something that somebody killing esports would say.
Okay, I just need you to do the
Kix,
micro.
Okay, I have no overlay on my screen. Is there a hotkey to fix that?
QWE. Okay, now.
And then R opens it up. All right, sick. We're good. We're good.
Yeah, so hopefully things are looking a little bit better for you. It looks like we did see that tank in the bottom get a good trade on 2 tanks for 1 there for Scan, but Bai is slowly creeping his way through to the bottom right of the map. That's going to be where he needs to expand to. We see that Scan is taking his 4th base now, and he's going to likely go for a very quick 5th as soon as he gets a good siege line going up at the bottom, but Scan could be thinking about going for a bust.
Yeah, it looks like Scan is wanting to be a little bit more mobile. He is going to try to hit this 3rd base. There are a couple of siege tanks, but there's actually only 2 siege tanks defending this this base. So the vultures run right up on them, lay their mines on top of the high ground. The mine's going to pop up, but it's not going to deal damage. But the Goliaths are going to be able to take out these only 2 siege tanks. There's not enough defending this 12 o'clock base, and if this gets taken out, that's such a huge part of this economy. And Bai is trying to move up to stop it, but I don't know if he's going to be able to.
Yeah, it's going to be really difficult. There's such a vastly superior tank count here for Scan on the low ground, mind you, but still, when you have this many tanks against pretty much 0 tanks, things are not looking good. I mean, Bai is now starting to pull back tanks from his mid-siege line, but it's going to take him such a long time to get back there, and it looks like he's going to try and go for a counter.
I mean, he's going to have to, right? He lost that. Scan behind this is double expanding, and I think this is super intelligent because even if he loses the base right now, if he has 2 more up, then he just like remakes the SCVs that he loses or, you know, remines from them, and you're just in a great spot. So look at what Bai is doing. He's going to try to take out these newer bases. I don't think Scan cares too much because right now the economy for Bai is in shambles. His main's about to mine out. His natural's looking pretty thin, and he has no 3rd base anymore.
Yeah, not only that, but Bai is about to lose the position over his main base, and if we see Scan get a position on these factories, it's going to be likely game over for Bai. Scan in such an incredible position, actually sieging up on the low ground, trapping the few units that Bai sent over here. And just look at the damage that Scan is able to put out on Bai. I mean, Scan is on 2-0, Bai is only on 1-0, which is quite a big problem. Obviously, 2-0 tanks take down a 0 armor tank in just 2 shots rather than 3. So that's a big difference, kind of like the big break point in TVT. And I mean, Bai is still continuing to try and spread out a little bit, but his economy isn't there. He doesn't have a third base anymore. He can't even afford another command center.
Yeah, and it's something that a lot of people might be maybe kind of wondering about is the kind of anticlimactic phase of this game, because it seems like Scan's in a really great spot, right? He's up about 30 to 40 supply. He's got a better economy, better position, and you're like, well, why? I mean, he just wins the game from here, right? It's not that easy to kill your opponent, especially when it's Terran, especially when they have a huge siege tank line out in the map. So you really have to like cross a lot of T's and dot a lot of I's and J's to make sure that you can close out the game. And Scan's doing a really good job of that, right? He did try to double expand, but now he's actually floating the command center from the bottom right-hand corner base to the what do you want to call that, 7 o'clock base down there. He's going to try to mine from there. And at the same time, he's trying to clean up the remnants of Bai's army out on the map. And he's going to be able to do that. And once he's done kind of sweeping the dust under the rug, he's going to go for
this is
the rest of the armies.
Yeah, the thing that amazed me most about Bai there is he actually sent SCVs and was building turrets with that because he just wanted to make sure that single tank didn't get dropped on. Because even though it was a single tank, that was a strong position for him to hold. Now, Bai has managed to secure himself a third base. He's not mining the gas yet. Not really necessary. He's still got a bank of about 600 gas, which is realistically a hell of a lot. But the trouble is, Scan does not want to leave him for that long with that base. You see Scan's going over absolutely everywhere, and Scan using this supply advantage he has to really try and break through the lines of Bai. I mean, Bai only has about 10 tanks in the middle, and Scan's about to cross the T.
Now, there is a big minefield here, so a couple of crazy hits is really going to be a problem. Now, this massive Wraith of Valkyrie army is the last bastion for Bai. This is the only thing that he has standing between him and getting rolled over by a superior ground force. So if he can kill the Goliaths, then maybe that's his answer. But I think we all know what the answer to that question is.
Yeah, I mean, Bai is trying to trade as efficiently as he can, but it's just not working out for him. Scan with his army just breaking through everywhere at the moment. There is just a single tank left on the high ground, and that's not going to be enough to hold on to Bai. And by losing this position, he's going to lose the pathway of getting out of his base, and that's going to be it. GG! Scan takes down Bai in game number 1.
Wow. Really, really impressive. The way that game opened, keep in mind, was an 8 racks, right? So we still got a really big macro game. But I think the biggest moment was when Scan pushed out aggressively across the map. Even though he lost the vultures and marines that he brought with it, he was able to get so much ground and maintain the high ground outside of his opponent's base. Then it just took so much longer for Bai to break out, and I think Scan really handled that super well. So, and I know it's really weird for me to watch that game because my replay bugged out and all my information was just like really bad for a while. I'm like, well, what's going on here? And then I look up and they have 2K minerals. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, really well played there by Scan.
Yep, it was. So we're going to get into game number 2 when we get back after this very short break. See you guys very soon. Okay guys, welcome back to the STPL. You're joining myself and Kix here for...
What
sorry.
did you just say?
Myself and
What?
Kix. Everything went wrong. Myself and Rapid, my goodness. Apparently Kix is bugged. It's not just the Game 1 replay, it's me as well. But
Well, yeah, as part of esports, in order to kill esports, eventually that's going to involve your brain kicks. So you're just getting a head start on that one.
I am. So we're about to go into game number 2 here. Scan took us to a very impressive 1-0 lead here for SouL Gaming against White Clan. Let's go through and introduce our next couple of players. It's going to be a PvP, but starting us off here for SouL, it's going to be Noob. One of their amateur players has done incredibly well in the STPL and also in the Havatyu tournaments run by Sham2. And I mean, just looking at his PvP stats, he's beaten a few people who would be like, yeah, I would expect this is normal. But he's also beaten DeWalt in PvP, and his PvP is insane. So, looking forward to seeing how he's going to do here. He is 5-0 against Protoss right now, so he is in a strong position statistically to go up against Mook. Now, Mook, another one of the amateur players here for White Clan, hasn't played that many games in the STPL. He only played against Spire in their previous semi-final, and he did win. So that's the kind of caliber player he is, to go against a player as good as Spire is and manage to take a win. Shows you have the mettle to do it. He's actually a fairly regular member in their Korean clan wars, from what I understand. So, gonna be cool this game here and how it's gonna play out as we move into map number 2. It's gonna be on Benzene. Now, we've only actually had 2 PvPs on here before, so not too many games to sort of gather how this is going to play out, but just to go through the map quickly, it's a 2-player map. More recently, it's been on the ladder. There is a ledge behind the natural expansion, which is very good in PvP for storm dropping your opponent, and also Reaver's very good on this map as well. Lots of airspace around the main, and some very tight corridors as you get through the middle of the map. So, let's, without further ado, get into game number 2. It's here on Benzene. It's SouL's Noob versus White Clan's Mook. And starting us off here in the top right-hand position, we do have the red Protoss fighting for White Clan. Mook.
And his opponent in the bottom left-hand corner in the orange as Protoss. This is SouL's Noob. And, you know, just Noob's kind of reputation precedes him a lot more than Mook. I would say that if you've been watching STPL, or like you said, Havatyu, or some Korean amateur tournaments, Noob actually got a chance to meet this kid when he was playing in the qualifiers because he traveled. He did very well. He actually, I think, made it to the quarterfinals of one of the groups in Seoul, or in Busan, I believe it was. This kid was really, really good. He was doing very well against some very tough competition. Who did he eliminate? He beat a very strong player in an opening round, and so you really got to give this guy a lot of credit. He's the real deal. But so Mook is a very common secondary first name. So if you want to look at it as like a middle name, kind of in Korean. And so he could be any one of a whole bunch of returning ex-pro players, but he also could just be a total amateur. So I don't know exactly what to expect.
He's an amateur. Basically, at one point, Gyro, who is the clan leader for Clan White, sent me an entire roster, including all of the teams they used to play for, whether or not they had pro license stuff as well. So that's how I know JY is definitely the JY from back in the old days, who actually played against Boxer, Yellow, and Nalra back then. That's how old school he is. But Mook, one of their amateur players, is, I believe, quite young. It was kind of funny when Gyro sent that as well, because it was at a time where they just lost, I think it was against Red in round 2. And it was almost like he posted that to intimidate the other teams, like, hey, don't forget, we got all these good players, and we're coming for you. And obviously they did eventually win round 2, so I mean, it's been kind of crazy having White Clan in the STPL. Things have definitely improved a lot for all of the other teams since round 1. Like, in round 1, White Clan really sent kind of the same players that we see now. When they played against SouL Gaming, they actually sent Mind and Best. Obviously, two of their most well-known players. SouL hasn't played, and obviously he's in the army now, so probably won't be seeing him for a while. But I believe it was Best played against Shinhan and had an insane mind drag. I remember that game like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
That was on Gladiator. That was cool. Mind actually took down Miso in a really, really cool TVZ where Miso went 2-hatch Spire and kind of just kept building mutas until he died.
Yeah. So all that to say is that the last time these two teams faced off, well, not the last time, but
that was
the most
first
iconic time. They were just pulling they weren't pulling any punches. They've sent out their pro players. They were slaughtering each other, and White Clan, they definitely had kind of luck on their side at that point, especially in that best game. So this is kind of a rivalry because these are two very strong. I guess you would call them South Korean clans predominantly. They're not all South Korean on SouL, but a lot of their very high profile players are. And for White Clan, they are about as Korean as a clan can possibly get. So it's really, really crazy to see such incredible players. But what is most surprising about STPL, and we'll talk about the builds here in just a second. What is most surprising about STPL is that just because these teams have pro players on them, just because they're incredibly good, does not guarantee them a win. In the case of White Clan, they almost weren't even here.
Yeah, they very nearly didn't qualify. I went through this when we went through the team history, but I mean, they were beaten by FBW, they were beaten by Red, and they very nearly lost to Bull Team as well, and Bull Team are a team that actually went 0-6 in round 2, so Bull came back in week 1, not throwing any, or not holding back any punches either, really showing that they can be a dominant team too. And as I was kind of going into before I went into the whole first round for White and SouL, all of the teams are doing a lot better here against SouL and White now. At first, a lot of people were worried, well, White Clan are just going to win every week, and they're not. Even though they're sending out really, really good players, teams like NetWars, teams like Red, teams like IRK, they're all adapting, and they're all getting better. And that's been the most exciting thing.
Okay, yeah, we got to talk about some weird stuff going on here. This is a DT expand. I have not seen this before, but basically this says that there's no way that your opponent can have observers across the map as quickly as you can have DTs on your side of the map. So technically, getting an expansion up in PvP is very difficult. You've either got to have things like Reavers or some tech to hold it, because numbers just won't do, because your opponent can just have like a bunch of gateways and come start walking over you. So this is going to be really interesting, and I want to see how effective these DTs and eventually High Templars can be, because this is a huge, this is the great leap forward. If you know that reference, this is like you've gotten a huge tech lead on your opponent, because eventually High Templars are really going to come in big in this matchup.
Yeah, and the other interesting thing is we've actually got Mook going for an Observer expand. So both of them going for really quick expands. Obviously, the DT would give him more power on his side of the map, but these Observers is going to make this DT essentially worthless in doing any form of damage. So looks like Noob is going to play this safe, going to pull his DT away. I think he has an inclination that there is an Observer there. It would make sense, the fact that Noob is pulling his or Mook is pulling his army so far back. Now, looks like Noob is being a little bit sneaky here. He's going up for this power generator. The trouble is,
I love it. He's actually out of range of the Observer, and if he doesn't hit the power generator, then actually, even if he does, the Observer's still not going to be able to see it. Oh, is he going to find it? Oh,
he
wow,
does.
that is a good Observer, right? Wait, did he not see it?
He did.
Oh, he's going to bring it around with the army on the long way.
Yeah, this makes sense, because otherwise you just end up losing a load of your army to DTs, but looks like he is going to take that down.
No, King Boy, why?
Wow, he gets away.
DTs are so fast.
They are.
What?
This man, he has been to the gym, he's gone for a run, he has trained for that marathon, and Noob, with great control, does manage to keep that DT alive. Obviously, the Dragoons are going to have their own problems, but Noob getting prepared for a potential drop behind his main, dropping that pylon down on the power generator just to see what's going on. We're going to see Mook going for an additional 4 gateways behind his Robotech, so we're going to have speed coming in with his shuttle, so he's going to look to do his own damage. But the Noob hasn't finished with this DT, he's just keeping it alive, kind of using it as an observer here in the middle of the map.
I mean, this game is really interesting, and for a lot of people who don't like to watch mirror matchups, or maybe don't especially like to watch PvP, there's so many crazy subtle nuances that are going on here that do make this a very dynamic game, even though we haven't seen units kill each other yet. So the biggest thing to talk about is that we don't know much about Mook, but he's delivering, he's holding up head to head, toe to toe. He's had everything when he needed it to, but let's keep an eye on the shuttle! Gets 1 DT out.
Yeah, and there was 2 High Templar in that shuttle, so that's a big amount of damage for Mook to get. Noob, a little bit unfortunate there. Mook saw it leave the base with the observer, and he moved into the perfect location to deal with it. Now Mook is actually trying to go for possibly an expand up there, building a couple of pylons, just a spot for the time being. But Noob there to block.
Yeah, so Noob's gonna block. I mean, just for a second until the probe gets taken out. But no, that pick is gigantic, right? All of a sudden, your entire tech advantage disappears. It doesn't matter that you had those High Templar. It doesn't matter that you researched Storm, because now you have none of that. I mean, you've still got the tech, but you don't have a shuttle. You don't have all the energy on those High Templar or the Templar themselves, and that means that your opponent has a huge advantage. And exactly on time, Mook is realizing that and heading across the map with high tech, including those Reavers of his own.
Yeah, now the thing for Mook, for Noob even, is he does have 3 High Templar left back at home. It's going to be a little bit before they can get Storm, but they're very close. So it's still going to be hard for Noob to push in here. Now that DT moving up to clear out those pylons in the top middle, going to force a little bit of a reaction by Mook. Now it looks like Noob is going to save one of his observers in the middle. A little bit unfortunate there for Mook, but here we go. It looks like we are going to have Mook try to push forward into Noob now.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for Noob right now is if he can do to his opponent what his opponent did to him. Taking down the shuttle with the 2 Reavers inside would be so massive. That shuttle only has 30 HP and maybe 10 shields, so that it's very possible. It's very likely, and let's keep an eye on the rest of what Noob is doing out on the map. I thought he still had that DT out there, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's up at the 12.
Yeah, killed both the pylons, so that's a little bit of a win for him now. He is going to find it hard to push out here. We do have Mook getting a position on the high ground. Oh, he stormed. Oh, it's 8 HP!
No, it's 8 HP on that shuttle! The Reavers are alive!
Oh, now they're down.
To clear that out.
Yeah, and the thing is, now we only have Dragoons and a couple of Zealots against Noob's superior army. So it looks like Mook is going to be forced to fall back to this high ground, but the Zealots don't care. They're running up as quickly as they can, taking so much damage, and Noob is pushing through Mook's army like butter.
Man, yeah, man, that's what I do with my butter kicks. I push right through it. And look at those Zealots, man. Speed lots are so good. Who would have guessed that a melee unit would be better than like almost any range? It's just so crazy. Now, obviously you got to know when is too much. But what is Mook gonna do with these 5 Dragoons in the upper left? I mean, he's blocking, I guess, an Expo at this point. Maybe he can come in a little bit later on. But SouL as a team are in a pretty good spot after Scan's performance. And they're in a pretty good spot here in Game 2 with Noob having stabilized on 3 bases on his side of the map.
Yeah, no, it looks like Mook is going to fall back now. I think he was a little bit worried about there being a ton of units over there, so didn't want to throw away...
Base?
Yeah, it looks like Noob is going to go for it. I mean, he hasn't got the money for it just yet, but he's got a probe there just to maybe get ready a little bit later. Now, Mook has actually got those units out in the middle. They do actually get scouted by Noob, so he moves in to intercept, but Mook manages to get on the high ground.
Ooh, yeah, that's a big deal. High ground is just like we saw in that last game, super important to control. And this is a two-player map. It's not gigantic, right? You got your four maps on your side, and then the other ones on the side basically just get dropped and stormed for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
So it can be very difficult to hold those. So we're kind of gonna move into the next phase of the game, but I don't know how deep we're going to get into it because it seems like Noob is just being like the Terminator. He's running everywhere on the map, killing any signs of life that he can see. And I mean, just if you just look at the supplies, then you'd say that Mook was ahead, but not for long.
Yeah, I mean, the big benefit that Noob has is he has so many storms at the moment. Now, Mook is actually going into Templar himself. He's got 3 storms queued up, ready on
Uh-oh.
his High Templar. And the trouble is, this just leads to a position in PvP where neither player can
Storm drop in the natural. Oh my god. Oh, he barely misses the probe. Nice pull. And he's going to be able to pick it up and head back out. Wow. That shuttle gets in, gets out with both High Templar.
It does, nice, but I mean, that is 2 storms less with his army, and Mook still has all his storms, so
Yeah.
it's still one of those awkward positions in PvP where you can't really attack into each other. Now, Noob does actually effectively cancel the 4th base here by Mook. He is going to send up some zealots to make sure it goes down. I mean, Mook is still just staying active with his army and just keeping an eye on everything that's going on.
Yeah, I wonder if he wants to fight this, though. I think he's just being kind of annoying at this place. If he actually tries to push up here, this
Oh,
could be
storm drop in the
disastrous.
main.
Yeah, storm drop in the main. This one's going to be a little bit rougher.
Oh, it's going to the natural. Have the probes been pulled?
What?
Not yet.
Oh my god. Okay, he's pulling most
Oh,
of them.
wow,
Yeah, he's going to
nice.
get out of there. But still, hey, forcing a couple of big pulls, that's still a lot of lost mining time. And as long as Noob can retreat successfully and doesn't lose his huge army here, then he's going to be in a good spot. Oh,
Oh,
no,
he
the
picks
probes
up
are
a High
coming back.
Templar.
So the probes came back to the natural. That's the storm of the dreams. Maybe the third.
Oh,
Oh,
no,
this
he's
one
already
could really
pulled.
decide the game.
He's already pulled all of his workers, and I mean, Noob on retreat actually did manage to kill one of the High Templar of Mook, which did have a good amount of energy. You know, I mean, this storm
Natural.
drop's still coming in at the natural. The probe's being pulled immediately, though. Mook is so on top of his probe roll.
Well, at the same
Oh my
time, look
god.
at how much value this shuttle's getting. Okay, never mind. Right as I talk about the value the shuttle's getting, it dies. But the idea is tons of lost mining time, and all that really matters. You're starting to see Mook. He's got the bigger supply technically, but that might not be true when that economy kind of kicks in or kicks out.
And the problem is,
As
Noob is actually he has a massive upgrade advantage at the moment. He's working on 3-1 attack.
oh wow,
Meanwhile,
holy
Mook
cow.
is only working on 2-0, so unless... Oh my god, that's a good storm on the back of the army.
Yeah, it catches the High Templars and really all the reinforcements coming across that narrow bridge. And so now it might look like Mook has a decent army, but it's all Zealots running into Storm, and there's Zealots to meet them on the other side, along with some Archons too. So Noob's army vastly superior, and you're going to start to see that supply shift pretty quickly.
Yeah, now it looks like we are going to see Mook push down this little ramp. It doesn't do too well for him. Noob taking a
It's gonna
supply
be
advantage for the first time in the game. And I mean, this 4th base is going to be taken down most likely, but it's Archon versus Archon. Trading really, really evenly almost, but GG! Mook knows he's too far behind, knows there's a 4th base on the other side of the map, and he can't hold his. And that's going to take SouL to a 2-0 lead.
2-0 over White Clan. Wow, this is so impressive. I will say that that SouL has put kind of the best part of their roster out first, just 2 of
Yep.
their absolute titans, and they're winning their games. Big surprise. It's what they've been doing for them all season long. So for White Clan, it is a little bit surprising to see them, put in players that we haven't seen a whole lot, who maybe don't have the strongest track record. But still, you can't take anything away from these wins SouL are putting up on the board. They
Yep.
are absolutely fantastic, beautifully played in both games 1 and 2.
Yeah, so we're going to load up game number 3 here. It's going to be between Fire and Pharmacy, and we'll be back in just a minute. See you guys very Hello guys and welcome back to the STPL. My name is Kix, joining me is Rapid, and we're here for SouL versus White Clan, the second of our two semi-finals here in round number 3, and it's been pretty epic so far.
It really has been. We've seen a couple of really great games. Both of them kind of started out with some interesting things at the beginning. I think game 1 specifically, but we did get a chance to see some real macro out of both players. The last game was super sick, but in the end, I think better positioning and decision making by Noob. He definitely deserved to win that game number 2, and that puts SouL 2-0 up over White Clan.
It does indeed. So without further ado, let's introduce our third set of players here for SouL Gaming here on the screen right now. It's going to be Spire. Now, Spire hasn't played too many ZVTs in the SCPL. He actually played against Medinho and lost, but he has a fantastic track record overall. He's 6 for 4 in the SCPL, as well as winning multiple Have At You tournaments and just being an overall boss in pretty much every matchup that you can imagine. One of the notable players he actually lost to, other than Medinho, was Yeti, and he actually lost to Mook as well the last time they met. That was in the semi-final for round 2. But he's been doing a pretty incredible job, and his opponent, one of the major players in the SCPL, it's Famassi. Now, Famassi, 14 for 4 overall. Now, his TVZ hasn't proven to be his strongest matchup. He's actually 3 for 3. So 3 of his 4 losses come from TVZ. He lost to Dates from Bull Clan, he lost to Eon Zerg, and he lost to Ku as well from Red. So losing some surprising matches given his previous form, but he is another one of White Clan's amateur players here, but still just an absolute boss as well.
Yeah, he's super sick player. I'm so happy we get a chance to see this matchup because it's another example of just two absolutely fantastic players playing each other. Famassi has just looked incredible, and you can't take anything away from Spire either. This is a guy that's gone out and competed in some offline tournaments here in Korea, and these are both just very strong players. I think it's basically impossible to call this ahead of time. I would say that if you absolutely made me, I'd say maybe an edge to Spire, but I don't know. This is just going to be a fantastic game to watch.
Yeah, whatever happens here, we could see history made as SouL could take their first win against White Clan in a series in the STPL, or we could go to, well, we'll go to a game number 4 anyway, but we get closer to that reverse sweep here by White Clan. But the map we're going to be seeing here is going to be Icarus, a map that was known as so standard it's boring in 2010, according to Team Liquid members, well, not members, but forum members. But here it is in the STPL. 4 players spawn 12, 6, 3, and 9 o'clock positions. Relatively choked up middle, but you have the little bridges as well to add a little bit of defensive power, and the third base is in the corners, defended by a small bridge and a ramp as well. So we've had a few notable games on this map so far. We had Zero versus Cryok. Cryok did win that. True Touch versus Scan, where Scan won that one, but Jerry fought and beat Medinho. Medinho obviously the person who beat Spire. Lumire took out Naokan on this map, and Marwin took down Mitak. So we're actually completely even in TVZ on this map. So really cool to see this in the SCPL. But let's get into game number 3. It's on Icarus. It's Spire versus Famassi. Now starting us off here in the top right-hand position, we do have the purple Terran fighting for White Clan, Famassi.
That's right, and his opponent in the other side of the map in the red, this is SouL's Spire. Playing as Zerg, of course. This is going to be fantastic. It's TVZ, an iconic matchup, 2 incredible players playing it, and what are we at right now? Kicks, we're at a good solid 88 in chat. Amazing people watching this, so you guys are in the right place. If you have other people you want to put in the right place too, tell them to watch, because this game is probably going to be, I mean, it's just going to decide whether or not SouL win the series and advance on to the round 3 finals. It's just a lot on the line.
Yeah, and I mean, if White Clan do win this series overall, we will see a rematch of the round 2 grand finals where NetWars unfortunately lost, giving a walkover. That was a heartbreaker that day when I hyped everyone up for the best of 7 finals and there was only 6 games. And it was like, oh, it's not good, but SouL have been so close to getting to the finals twice now. I mean, they just missed out in round 1 to losing to IRK and White Clan of even getting to the playoffs. Round 2, they did a great job and they come across White in the semi-finals like they did today, and they couldn't get that win. And here they are again in round 3, looking to make their mark on the STPL, looking to grab that playoff final spot. And they're going there with a strong, strong team as Spire starts us off here with a 12 pool.
Okay, so this is going to be a 12 pool. Obviously, you know, Spire has died, as many Zergs have, hundreds of times to BBS. So you never want to make it takes a lot of guts and a lot of, well, more importantly, scouting information to go for anything super economic. It might look a little bit weird to do 12 pool, but it does mean that you're safer versus early aggression, and it's
They
Okay, I'm talking about how he's not going to die, and Kix is just like, well, yeah, but he's not going to do any damage either. And yes, you are correct, Kix, and it's very unlikely that there will be a punish to this greedy Terran build.
Yeah, I mean, this is actually a pretty good opening here for Spire. He kind of did this blind. I mean, FamSE has shown off a few TVCs before. He's certainly active in the Korean clan leagues for White Clan, so maybe Spire knows how FamSE is going to play this, but FamSE is interestingly scouting incredibly late as well. So he's playing super greedy this game.
Oh, he definitely is. Definitely is. If this was a 9-pool speed game, FamSE would be put in the dumpster. Maybe that's overstating it a little bit, but all I'm trying to say is that the Terran player did a greedy build and didn't get punished for it, and the Zerg player wasn't necessarily greedy, but also isn't going to be in a position to punish his opponent.
Yeah, now we are going to see at least that the Command Center is on the high ground. He does have an SCV out the front, but one SCV is not going to be enough to deal with a good number of Lings. But I mean, there is only 4 Lings currently on the map, so 6 Lings now. But I mean, FamSE, I think, has done what he needs to do to stay alive. I mean, Fire, in the meantime, is going for a lair in a Hydra Den. But it looks like we could see a Lurker build.
Yeah, it's going to be really exciting. Obviously, he's got this planned out very well, but most Lurker builds rely on denying a lot of information. Obviously, Lurkers are most potent when they first come into play, and so if you can keep that information away from your Terran opponent for as long as possible, then they become very, very potent.
Yeah, now we are going to have FamSE building a bunker at the front. This is the kind of move he needs to make sure he doesn't die. That's going to be the most important moment in the game for him. He is going for 2 racks Marine production. He is going for his Academy now. So Stim and Medic's going to be a little bit later than what you'd normally see from like a 1 racks FE opening, but he's going to have a lot more Marines a lot quicker as this economy starts kicking in from a quicker CC.
So he's going to see that, in fact, it was a 14cc opening. You can kind of tell that from timings, the amount of stuff that the Terran player has, which is just not a lot right now. And anytime you're trying to like really push the boundaries of how economically you can open, you do put yourself at risk of not only early aggression, but early tech aggression too. And that's what's coming across the map as the Lurker aspect finishes up.
Yeah, this is going to be a really, really awkward position for FamSE to be in. His scanner is going to be incredibly late. He is going to be trying to skip those for as long as possible. He's going for an engineering bay, but he doesn't know what his opponent's doing. His SCV didn't manage to get into the main base. He hasn't gone back to check on the drone count, and there's barely any drones here over in the natural. There isn't any drones in the natural, and FamSE trying to be a little bit aggressive, trying to catch these Lings, but he doesn't know about the Lurkers.
More importantly, he's pushing way out on the map right now. If you don't know what's coming your way, Ling Flood can catch you. Really, a lot can catch you off guard. He has no idea. Are there scanners? No, they're just now being built. And so he will have a little bit of spot detection, but his army is not back at home.
Yeah, his army's not back at home. He's got a decent amount of
Here we go.
mutants here, but these 3 lurkers could be doing a lot of damage. Looks like the Ling's going to catch the Marines and Medics in the middle of the map, getting a really good engagement. And Thamasi losing his bio here, going to be in massive, massive trouble. He loses all his Marines. Oh my goodness.
Scanning. He's not scanning. Oh my god, the scan's so late. Now, sure, the scan is going to come in, but is it going to be in time? Oh my god, he's not even targeting the weakened lurkers. He's splitting the fire. GG's out. Damn. Famasi typing out Spire with a lurker bust to punish the 14cc. What a god. And he will lead SouL to a 3-0 victory, their first over White Clan.
Yeah, this is a historic moment for them. Not only have they beaten White Clan in the series, they've also made it to their first playoff finals. Now, there is one more game in the series, and just in case you're catching the STPL for the first time, every single game counts towards the stats at the end of the day. So we do cast every single game that's played, and it's going to be another sick TVZ. It's going to be Bjol versus JY. We get back after this very short break. Okay guys, welcome back to the STPL. We just saw Spire take down Famasi to give SouL a 3-0 victory in this series, but we have one more game left to show you. It's the 4th game of the series, and it's between the 2 wonderful players right here. Just to go through who they are, we're going to have Bjol for SouL. He is one of the newer pickups from this round, has done really, really well in the STPL, also really well in Havaku, and also really well in the ASL qualifiers, making it the round of 24 twice in a row.
Yep, that's right. He was in the round of 24 last year, and to his credit, he was the only amateur player that showed up. You know, Yerim 2, this other guy that qualified, didn't even show up. And obviously, he had more going on. It's not like he was scared or anything. But for Bjol, he showed up. He got a chance to play some on-stage games in 2018, and as an amateur player, is really the first of his kind to do that. And more importantly, he backed it up by dominating in online leagues, in offline clan leagues, in amateur competitions, and in the ASL qualifiers just last weekend. He was able to qualify for his second ASL, and I cannot wait to see this guy play because he is really on a hot streak. And I think that today's match will serve as a little bit of an like an exhibition match, because while it won't mean that White can come back in the series, it will be a great chance to see sort of a battle between the old and the new. Bjol representing the new, and his opponent being one of the most old school players in STPL.
Yeah, now JY playing for White, he's been in the clan since I believe 2004, so he has been around for a very, very long time. And not only that, but he is a man that back in the day played against Boxer, played against Nelra, played against Yellow as well. He is so far back. He played in CJ Entus in Proleague in 2006 and 7. In 2007, in fact, he played against Light, Calm, and Best, as well as some other great players. And he ended up with a Proleague record of 8 and 12. While that isn't a winning record, to go against players like Light, Calm, and Best, especially Best in his heyday, and winning is absolutely insane. I mean, he had a couple of nicknames back in the day as well, Cappuccino Zerg and Bubble Zerg, kind of cool to see him here in the STPL. The last time he actually appeared in any well, not major tournaments, but last time he appeared in any real tournament was actually the Love TV Star League Season 2, where he actually lost to Pure Mong and got knocked out in the round of 32, but he's been playing since then, continuing to carry on as well, and here he is in the STPL for his debut game, so I can't wait to see how he's going to do here against Bjorl. As you said, it's kind of like the exhibition of old versus new. You have Bjorl, one of the newer sort of pro players these days, against one of the really, really old school guys, and they're going to be playing here on Athena 2. Not really too much to say about the map history because we only had 2 TVZs. It is tied up 1-1. And they were a little bit one-sided, so it's going to be kind of a clean slate moving here into Athena 2. Athena 2, of course, a 3-player map, 2, 10, and 6 o'clock spawns, and just overall a really, really fun map. We've had some great games on this map throughout the STPL, and I'm hoping this will add on to that as well, as we give White a chance to get a little bit of extra pride here in their game. So let's head in to game number 4. Now, starting us off here in the left-hand side position, we do have the yellow Terran fighting for SouL. It's Bjorl.
That's right, and his opponent, player that you might not have seen for a while. This is JY, our Zerg player on the right-hand side of the map. It's another TVZ, but it's probably not going to look like the last one. Just let me do the little micro here to change settings, and the reason for that is that Bjorl plays a very different style. Than Famasi. So this guy is very reactionary. So he's going to start very defensively, and then he's going to wait until he can figure out what his opponent is doing. And only then is he really going to make a move. And
Yeah.
he's really good when that happens, but a lot of times he's playing against players that are so good that it's a little bit too late by then.
Yeah. So, looking at the builds we had last game, I mean, we had a 12 pool coming out from Spyro. I don't think we're going to see that here from JY. More than likely going to go into a 12 hatch from here. I mean, 9 pool is still a possibility, but he's building his Overlord, so it's going to at least be an overpool. And Bjorl, I don't think is going to go for a 14cc either. Famasi, playing incredibly greedy there, did lead to not only his, but White's downfall in this series. I'm certain Gyro had a word with him after that, saying, why did you go 14cc or something similar? Because to make that decision, to go for that build, to take that risk when you know your team is 2-0 down in a best of 5, it takes a lot of guts, and unfortunately, Spire read into it before it happened, and just really nipped it in the bud before it could really come into fruition.
Yeah, I wouldn't say before it happened, because obviously, you know, it did happen, Bunker got up and all that stuff, but well, he did scout it soon enough to have a tech follow-up to punish it.
Yeah.
Either way, let's actually kind of talk a little bit more about this game, because this is going to be a 12 hatch, or actually, I guess that was 11 hatch 10 pool from White, or from JY.
Looks like it, but things are always a little bit funny. I wasn't looking at the screen when when they went down, so I'm going to trust your judgment there. You see the one racks fasting. Oh, it's going to be a 1-1-1 here coming in from Bjorl. So Bjorl going for a little bit more of a conventional style here, but a little bit less used as well. Once Flash dropped it, once Last dropped it as well, because what happened in the KSL and ASL finals. There's not really been a huge amount of players going for it, but Bjorl showing that he's confident here, going for it, going for that factory very early on. And I mean, we could even see a 2-port Wraith coming out from him. It looks like it is going to be an expansion, though, based on the gas being pulled out, or the 2 SUVs being pulled from gas.
Yeah, so a lot of reasons that Terrans, just to, in case you're not keeping up with the bleeding edge of the metagame. So 1-1-1 means that you don't have a lot of units, but you have a lot of tech. And so you have to leverage your tech to make sure that either you deal a lot of damage or don't take a lot of damage. And I think for Bjorl, one of his reasons is going to be defensive, so that if he needs to get a particular unit out, he can get it when he needs to. And obviously, you're going to be able to both scout your opponent and see what they're making, and that'll give you enough time to adjust to that with your 1-1-1.
Yeah, the 1-1-1 is kind of the ultimate reactionary build. It was developed in 2009 by Uve. It was really popularized by usage by Fantasy, Stack, and Kanata, the three SK Telecom T1 Terrans, along with Midas as well, although he didn't play as much during that era. And more recently, it kind of saw a resurgence. Flash brought it back. He iterated on it over and over and over again until he found what he thought was the ultimate Zerg killing build. But they adapted. Sulky, Effort, Jadong, all of them, Lava as well, worked together, and they found a counter to it. And slowly, the volatility of the 1-1-1 really started to show. And in a way, it's kind of funny because it reminded me a lot of 2010 again, where Fantasy was the only person doing it a lot in Pro League games, and people kind of figured it out back then. But it's kind of like it was lost to time. Like, people didn't really practice against it too much unless they were going to be fighting Fantasy, because no one else really bothered with it. I mean, Flash did a little bit, but it was a completely different variation. And now it's kind of like hit that phase of everyone knows how to counter it. You go sort of really, it's mainly like 2-hatch muter, and that was kind of the build that killed Fantasy over and over again back in the day. So it was kind of nostalgic to me to see that happen all over again, but also kind of sad as well. But you're going into a starport behind his command center, so going to be going into this first race now. If you've not seen the 1-1-1 build before, the way it used to work is you'd go into a Vulture drop, but the more modern style is to go into a Wraith, and this is just to push Overlords away from your main base, keep the Zerg in the dark, and also, if you can, try and get a drone or two.
Yeah, all that. The the situation that we're at right now is one where neither player's opening is going to give them a huge advantage, but where we are going to see some interesting things happen. So for the most part, a lot of muta builds that you'll see will primarily be a lot of early 2-hatch muta builds. So this is going to be the 3-hatch variety, which is meant to get up a bunch of mutas, and more recently Zerg players have just been building a lot of mutalisks. So they'll build the first 9, which is 3 out of each of your hatcheries, and then they'll follow up, and they'll keep following up. And the idea is that if your Mutalisk control is good enough, then you can keep chipping away at the Terran, and you'll put on so much pressure that they'll never be able to stabilize, and you can eventually wear them down with superior control. But you got to have that superior control.
Yeah. Now, we do have a couple of Hydralisks coming in here for JY. This is just to push away that first Wraith, but here is one of the main benefits of the 1-1-1. You get mines incredibly quickly, and it just makes it a little bit more annoying for the Zerg to push out on the map. You have to be a lot more careful. You can't clear the whole map of mines. Your Overlords don't have speed, and it just becomes a little bit of a pain.
We're getting Lurker Aspect, Scourge, and Mutas here. We're really going for it here, Kix. Wow, I've not seen particularly this version of it. I was just expecting a whole lot of mutas here, but no, there's a little bit of extra behind it as well. Not just those 2 Hydras to push the Wraith away.
Yeah, also, I mean, he's just kind of teching hyper fast. Usually you would see the Zerg go for his mutas, go for Lurkers behind it as well a little bit later on. But obviously, skipping that, going for the Lurkers incredibly quickly, going to allow him to take a very, very quick third base. Slowly but surely, likely going to go for the other main. Now we are going to have Vulture Micro against the Hydras just to see if he can get a little bit of extra damage done. But JY, too well prepared.
Yeah, JY very, very solid at the front. He's got that Overlord to see anything coming so he can reposition. And honestly, for going Wraith first, JY still actually has
the irradiate
out of the map. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god! Oh, it hurts! It burns! Oh, Kix! The terror, the horror. Oh, he runs the muta back in!
Oh, that was close. I mean, luckily enough, he wasn't all in on the mutas, so this isn't the biggest deal. Obviously, the Hydra is going to be very powerful here, and he does take a lot of damage, but it's not the be-all and end-all version of the build he went for.
But still, like, you're trying to tell me how good it is that he loses all 6 mutas. I mean, he didn't lose all of them, but the rest of them are totally worthless.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's bad because now JY has no pressure, and that means that whatever follow up it is, and it is I wouldn't say an all in, but it's like it's almost that because like you said he could defend a third base. There's no third base kicks. We're just going for it. He
Yeah,
is getting a hive behind this, but this is it.
yeah, I mean, this is a lot of units, though. We only see a single tank from Bjol. He has a single
Oh my
bunker as
god.
well. Oh, this is going to be a little bit worrying. There is a vessel here, but the Lurker's getting on top of absolutely everything. It looks like we could possibly see a repeat of the last game, where Lurkers completely demolish everything. So many SCVs going down, the bunker goes down, and it's going to be nothing but tanks versus Lurkers and a couple of Lings now. And it looks like JY may have busted the front.
He's definitely busted the front. There's more Lings following up behind this. There's nothing in base to defend. There's a Marine and 2 tanks. More Marines popping out, and there are quite a few barracks. But with the Lurkers on the production facilities, I don't know if Bill's going to be producing for much longer.
Yeah, he is going to pull his Marines back that are spawning, so he is going to be able to continue to add on units, but no more tanks are going to be able to be built. There's actually a Ling behind trying to take out the turret, and this is only round 1. The second round of Lings coming on in here, getting on top of the production, and it looks like JY has done it. He has broken Bjol, and Bjol is going to find it a very, very hard position to come back here. This could be our quickest game in the series. Bjol doesn't want to give up. His team has won the series, but he has his own pride to consider it. A Firebat comes out, doesn't even manage to kill 3 Lings, it dies so quickly, and things are not looking good for Bjol.
You've correctly analyzed that, Kix. The amount that it's not looking good just grows more and more. Even though he can micro the Wraith and the Vulture and get some value to stabilize in the main, I do think that critical damage has been dealt here with more units continuing to rally in. So, I mean, you know, the more I say that, the more I realize that this is 4 hatcheries behind it with no third base. So
Yeah.
the problem is that eventually the flood will just chip away and chip away and chip away, and then a Defiler will show up.
Yeah, and when the Defiler shows up, that's game over. The second a Dark Swarm goes down into your main, that's pretty much it. I mean, the hatchery, Defiler Mount coming up now, sorry. And he's on borrowed time, he's adding on more mines, he's just trying to kill as many of these units before they get to his base. A huge mine going off of the Lings, that's going to help him. But just look how many units there are here for JY.
Yeah, JY just has so much.
Oh, the
Oh
mine!
my god!
Oh
Okay,
my god!
That Overlord was just a pixel out of range of seeing that mine, and now this is easily holdable. Now all that pressure just evaporates. Now Bjol stabilizes in his natural. Now he's got breathing room, and he's gonna be able to pick this Defiler off with a Wraith if it tries to move across the map without Hydras to protect it.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. The single Wraith is actually on 10 kills now. It just sat over the rallied units of Hydra, of JY even. And just things are being a little bit crazy right now. I mean, Bjol has retaken his natural. He didn't really lose it, but he's slowly getting more and more SCVs over there. He's continually building off 4 barracks. He doesn't have the option of going for more mines, though. He lost his factory, it seems. And that's going to be a big, big problem as this Defiler comes across the map soon. But I mean, this Wraith is still here. It's still getting damage done. And now it's
still getting damage. Yeah. And boom goes the dynamite. So the Wraith is out of here. You're right. There is still no more factory. It's mass fire bats coming, and I actually really like this. Instead of trying to rebuild any of his tech, he's saying, "Look, I know you're going for Dark Swarm. I gotta build the fire bats. Fire bats are beefy against lurkers, so they can take a bunch of shots. They really kill clumped up Zerglings, and they function under Dark Swarm. So they're gonna be the best unit you can build, but it's not gonna matter if he loses the rest of his army."
Yeah, no, it looks like the medic's actually out of range of the Firebat. Firebat goes down, the Marines go down, and the medic's now going to be isolated in the middle of the map. He needs those medics with the rest of his units. Now, he is trying to catch up, but that medic goes down. Unfortunately, the Firebat splash was not enough to save her. She is going to go down a hero, though, and Bjol continues to try and hold on.
Here's that Defiler. This first Dark Swarm is just going to be so gigantic. Behind this, there's no economies, so you got to make it count here. And with the Fire Bats running in and running over this Defiler, it's going to push it back a little bit more. But now he's out of Fire Bats, and that means that he can keep crawling forward with these Dark Swarms.
Yeah, now behind this, JY is looking to take his third base. All of Bjorn's Fire Bats did actually go down, so there's going to be no recourse for these units under the Dark Swarm. He doesn't even have enough for a Radiate. A Scourge coming in for the Vessel gets it as well. And there's another Defiler coming in here. It has Consume. I think it's the same one. And he's just going to continue swarming his way through to victory.
That's right. This is just going to be it. With the Natural in shambles, this Dark Swarm is going to be good enough. Now, there's actually only 1 Ling and 3 Lurkers left out of this entire force. So, once the Defiler dies to that Irradiate. So, maybe there's a world where these Fire Bats can hold on. They get one of the Lurkers. They're going to get the second Lurker.
Wow. Yul is just having the most clutch plays here.
These Fire Bats are wrecking everything.
He gets another Lurker! He holds!
I think at this point, Bjol knows that all he has to do is just survive. Because there's no economy behind this. There's no... I mean, there's going to be an attempted third base at the 6 o'clock location, but the Zerg economy is just in a really bad place.
The trouble is, he doesn't have enough scans to really see exactly what's going on. He has to save scans for the Lurkers as well, just in case something happens to his vessels. Now, one thing that would actually help JY now is going for a big Muta switch, but he just doesn't have the gas to do it. He's still on 2 gas at the moment. And I mean, there is a drone looking to take a 4th base in the bottom left of this map, possibly just going down to this Natural. And here we go, the Fire Bats pushing forward again. There is a Lurker here, but it goes down immediately without getting any kills. And the Defiler gets irradiated. Oh, Plague!
Does he have Plague? Yeah, he does. It hits 3 of the vessels, so that's obviously pretty big. You can try to come repair that a little bit later on. But even that Plague is not... scary enough for Biel, because there's not really a whole lot to stop this push on the ground. Is there another Defiler? Am I missing that, or does he not have any Defilers?
I don't think he has any more Defilers, and this could be a little bit of a problem. Biel has an insane army right now. It may not look big in size, but it's going to be efficient against what JY has. Now JY going around the back for a counter, but it looks like Biel already in position to deal with this. And this is going to be another round of dead Zerglings.
It certainly is. The Zerglings are actually going to pick off the reinforcements, though, so they kind of circumvent this catch. And maybe the Vulture in the main can pick off the Zerglings, but it's going to have a rough time doing it. Yeah, that's really awkward, because now they're going to get in and deal damage. And more importantly, it's pulled Biel back.
Yeah, it's pulled Bjorn's army entirely back. We're going to see another 2 Defilers have now spawned. We actually have a single Mulus popping out here now. The SCV is Scout at the base in the bottom middle, but the Nidus Canal already on the way. This is going to allow him to defend this base. But Bjorn is doing everything he possibly can to come back in this game now. He's got his second base fully mining. He is slowly but surely mining out of his main, though. So he is on a little bit of a timer. He's actually still on +1 attack. No additional upgrades have been researched. As I say, that +1 armor is just about to finish. But there's going to be Lings on the top of this ramp. No Lurkers, though. Where are the Lurkers?
He does not have them yet, Kix.
He does. They're just not in the right place. He's not sending them to the Nidus Canal.
Yeah. Well, he does not have them there to specify. There's also 4 science vessels with tons of irradiate energy.
Scourge. Go down.
Nope, not gonna land that way. So they're just gonna irradiate their way to victory. And if I have ever seen a Terran player come back from dire straits, it's because of irradiates and the cost effectiveness of this force, and it's just gonna keep stacking up here for Bjol.
Yeah, but it looks like JY is finally gonna send that Muir out. This is gonna be the Vessel Sniper. There's 3 vessels incredibly low on health. If he moves too far forward, all of a sudden that's 3 dead vessels that Bjorn no
look at the
longer
fire bat
has.
drop. It's gonna kill the Nidus. It's gonna kill all the drones in the natural. It's gonna kill the Lurkers. It's doing so much damage here, Kix.
And he just lifts up. There's no A units here to deal with this. He's lost his Scourge. There's a couple of Hydralisks, but the Lurker's getting stuck on the ramp. Oh no!
Oh my god. Oh my god, he's gonna kill everything in the main. Okay, finally some Scourge actually are the big MVPs there to kill the shuttle.
But the third base!
In the meantime, he breaks up the ramp! He didn't Dark Swarm the ramp! Oh my god! The Defiler's gonna die in the natural, and the Nidus is dead.
Yep.
What?
This is a dead third base. There's going to be nothing that JY can do against this. Bjorl has shown insane...
Sorry, mines were almost killing all 4 lurkers running across the map, so that was a big deal.
Yeah, okay, it looks like we are going to have a little bit of a counterattack coming in here from JY. He knows all of Bjorl's army is in the top right, but there's no units here to deal with the mines. There's, a couple of really, really good vessel snipes.
Oh wow, all the Scourge go down, so there are still 3 vessels here. There's detection, there's enough units to deal with it. We still don't have tanks with siege mode, but okay, well, that's the freest vessel. But the vessel count is still growing. They do have the Titan reactor, so they've got extra, and yeah, more.
That's a good
that's
plague.
A nice plague. Yes.
Yeah, and the trouble is, Bjorl can't actually push forward, but the second he brings his army back, he is going to have a flank on these 3 lurkers. They're the only remaining units JY has. Looks like we're going to have a big push into this Dark Swarm. There's no Firebats here, but a lot of the units getting irradiated. A huge mine going off on those Lings, but JY still looks to be trying to break his way through.
I mean, he will try. This is another one of those Joker moments, right? Where he's sitting on the pile of money, and he asks, like, you know, what matches and gasoline, you know, costs, and he's like, you know what these have in common? They're cheap. So is bio. And that means that even though Bjorl is not on a great economy, he can still keep pumping out these fire bats. He's got enough to do that. And if you look at that and the ability that he has to hold on here, it's going to take a miracle for JY to break this.
Yeah, oh my god, JY's actually hiding a hidden base in the top left, just above where Bjorl is going to want to expand. The vessel's pushing forward, going to get a good engagement. There's so many firebats, but a huge plague. The trouble is, he doesn't have enough units on the ground that deal with firebats.
Yeah, no, the firebats can actually just roll over everything at this point.
That's 2 dead defilers.
These are 2-1 firebats.
Oh, and he's seen the third base. He's gonna go up there.
But there's a Nidus. If he can get enough through the Nidus in time.
He's not gonna be able to. He's not reacting. This is a dead hatchery, a dead Nidus, and 2 dead drones as well. And JY is struggling now. Bjorl's macro is starting to get into an insane position. 6 racks coming up for him now. 2 attack. Now finished, 2-1 upgrades, going to be doing so much for this bio, and the vessel's still alive. Ever-increasing counts, making it so difficult for JY to really do anything with his tech units.
Yep, and we're going to have a third base for Bjorl being attempted down here at the 9 o'clock location. So if he can secure that, that's almost game over at that point, because he's been able to take out and deny any base that Bjorl tries to take. And if he takes one of his own, obviously that's just really going to be the economic nail in the coffin.
And this is a really weird situation that you don't often see, but JY almost mined out in his main. Almost mined out in his natural as well, before the Terran player is. I mean, Bjorl's main is about to dry up, but Bjorl's natural a little bit more healthy because he wasn't mining there for so long. Now it looks like JY continuing to build a lot of units. Now, going back to something about the players earlier, if there's one person who can play from this kind of weird situation, it's going to be JY. He has experience in the 2006 meta, where just not having many bases was normal, so JY knows how to play from this situation. But the mines, oh my god, the mines almost getting... Ah! Okay, that could have been better. Oh my god,
if he mind dragged that and killed everything, it'd be karmic justice. But instead, I don't know if it's going to work out that way, Kicks. It appears as if there is enough back home to defend. With more irradiates coming, even those lurkers aren't going to last much longer.
Yeah, but the Ling's getting on top, cutting the bio count just a little bit. Another third base attempt by JY, though, going down. I really think he should look at taking the third base below where his main is.
Yeah, I think this is going to do it.
GG.
Yeah, oh wow, he just pieces the scene. We didn't get a chance to catch the GG, but I'm sure there was one. And in the end, Bjorl miraculously holds on. I gotta say, mine of the year.
That was. I hope someone clipped that.
Mine to hold on just barely at the natural is just incredible. And almost single-handedly, or I guess it's got 3 little hands. So triple-handedly was able to keep Bjorl in the game.
Yeah, I mean, that is quite possibly the biggest comeback we've had in the STPL so far. Bjorl was effectively dead. He wasn't really mining from his natural. His production was being camped by lurkers. and he still comes back. And if that's the kind of power he can show not only here, but going into the ASL number 7, he is going to be a strong, tough opponent to go up against.
Yeah, absolutely. Bjorn is looking incredible. I hyped him up before this game, and you're starting to see why the hype is real. The ability to maintain that composure, to play a reactionary play style and execute it in the most high-pressure, intense situations. He's going to be going up against the best StarCraft Brood War players in the world.
Yeah.
And if he can illustrate that there, then things might be looking good. So I'm very, very hopeful. It's going to be an exciting finals of the STPL, and it's going to be an even more exciting season of ASL coming up. And in both of those, you're going to get a chance to see Bjorn.
Yeah, now just to quickly recap the series and just why this is so important. SouL have played white twice. Both times they were taken down. This time, though, they got their vengeance. They've made it through with a 4-0 victory over some incredible players on White Clan. And I mean, Scan, Noob, Spire, Bjorn showing their worth, showing why they were such good pickups for SouL Gaming. As SouL Gaming sweep White Clan and they take themselves into the round 3 final. Now the round 3 final, the other team waiting for them is the strongest team quite possibly in Europe. They've made they've made the playoff finals twice now. It's NetWars. NetWars took down Naz. I believe it was 3-1 the other day. I can't believe I forgot already. It may have even been 4-0. But it was an insane... no, Eonsug won. It was 3-1. It was an insane series, and we are going to see the best of the best here in the STPL face off against each other. It's going to be Europe versus Korea and South America combined on Friday, 2100 CET. It's going to be a best of 7, and then at the weekend we'll likely see the 3rd and 4th place match as well between White and Naz, and that should be pretty exciting as well.
It's going to be a lot of good StarCraft coming up, so big thanks to all of you for coming out and watching it, especially if you are not in an American or European time zone.
Yeah.
Because it does, there's a lot of games, and it's kind of all leading up to this one moment. So
yeah.
It's a really exciting time for StarCraft for the STPL, and if you want to make sure that you can keep up with all of that, you can follow Kix and I on Twitter on the links that are posted in chat, or you can follow the STPL on Twitter at STPL TV, and if you want to know whenever Kix streams the STPL, you can hit the follow button right up above the channel.
And thank you very much for that, Rapid. Once again, thank you to you as well for coming out at such an early time in the morning to cast with me. It's been great fun. Hopefully you enjoyed the semi-finals as much as me. And I mean, from me, I guess the only closing words is I cannot wait to see the finals. I'll see you guys on Friday. Any closing words, Rapid?
Nope. Let's just hurry up and get to the finals, okay, Kix?
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll see you on Friday. See all of you there on Friday, hopefully, and have a very good evening. I'm going to find someone to host.